All right, hello there. How we doing, Yearbook kids? As promised, I said I would deliver you guys a little how-to video because when we tried to demo this in class, sometimes it doesn't work well because the software doesn't work extremely well with teams. They don't get along so well together. And I honestly I don't love the software all that much. It's all right, but it's what we have, so we're going to use it. And because there's a lot of other things that I like about the company that's kind of worth putting up with this. And yeah, I know it's slow, and you guys have complained about it being slow, and I've complained about it being slow, but we'll make the best of it anyways. So let's go ahead and make a layout kind of start to finish. If we go ahead and cruise through, you should be able to see my screen now. We're gonna make a layout kind of like this. And like I said, because of the fact that the software can kind of be a little bit clunky, we're gonna make a layout kind of like this one here. I'll show you how to do that start to finish. Okay, because of the fact that the layout can be clunky, try not to tweak the layout too much. Let's just use the templates, okay? Now, for the people who are doing like the senior section and then like the other class section, that's just gonna flow. I'll help you flow in those panels, but at least you still need to know how to put in captions and then also put in like subheads and headlines and things like that, because we'll still use a lot of those graphics on those senior pages. And then when you're done with the senior pages, you'll probably get a different page too. So we need to remember all that stuff because we have a lot of yearbook to create here. So anyways, we're gonna make a page that looks kind of like this, a spread that looks like this. So let's go ahead and put it. I have a sample page right down here. There it is right there. So I'm gonna just grab one. This is 118 and 119, and again, it's just a sample page. I kind of like a lot of these student life layouts in here. I'm gonna make like a sample sports page, but it could very easily work for student life too. If you go through and find things in sports, some of these are pretty good. Some of them aren't as good, but that's the way design works. Some things you like and some of them you don't. And if you have questions, check with me first. Like some of them have a lot of small pictures, and that's great, but honestly this year we're gonna have a harder time getting a lot of those action shots because there isn't as much action this year. So I kind of look through and see some of these that probably has 20 pictures on it. I don't know that you're gonna get 20 pictures for badminton. In fact, I can pretty much tell you you're not. And so choose some of the ones that have potentially less. I like 10 is a good number. You get 10 pictures on a spread, you're doing pretty good, okay? So I'm just cruising through here and finding something that looks pretty yearbooky. All right, there's a lot of different options that are in here, but something like that works. So in terms of placing it on there, see, I can actually just click this, and I clicked it, and then I clicked it again, and then hey, look, it placed it on here. So this one shows, your text here, your text here. That's not too bad. I actually, you know what? I don't love that one. I thought I'd like it better when I saw it, but I'm not crazy about it. So give me one more chance here. Give me one more shot. How about this one right here? We'll try that one. And some of them you'll just have to click and try and look at them. You know what? I can live with that. That one's not too bad. It has a funky border on there, but I think I can probably take that off. So let's just check it out and see. So here's my layout here. All right, there's my layout. I'm gonna click back here to my ladder now so I can look at what I'm trying to do. I want to do this. So let's put your headline in there. And notice how it also says your text here. This doesn't have any room on it for your copy, so I'm actually gonna get rid of this picture right here anyway. So I clicked on it and I hit the delete key on my keyboard. And I'm gonna make that go away as well. Click, just give me some room. This is where I am going to put my copy. Okay, and it thinks I want to work on it right now. And you'll notice all these layouts come with text put in there already. And it says your text here, but we're not using Railway. We're using a different font. All right. So we also don't want these weird borders. So I'm clicking on that and I'm clicking delete. So I'm just deleting out all this text that's in here. That's where I'm going to put my headline. And I don't like these funky borders here. They don't work with what we're doing. It's not that they're bad, they just don't work with what we're doing. So when you grab a layout, look and see what's already on it and kind of go, does that work or not? So I'm trying to click on it here, and I'm just making all that go away. So I'm hitting the delete key, You didn't need to see me delete out all this stuff. I'm not gonna do it on the whole spread, so I'll just do it on here. Well, this one did have a lot of extra artwork on it. Beep. Artwork is all those little jagged lines. I couldn't see it when I was looking at all that other stuff. I lassoed that right now, and I'm hitting the delete key. I'm seeing if that works any better. Yeah, there we go. Did everything. One more to go. And sometimes you can just kind of do this right here. And I know it's a little clunky. I think you'll find that it's probably a little better if you try it after school. Okay, I think I got it all now. And there's one more little piece of text right there. I'll get rid of that one. I'm just hitting the delete key on this. Now I'm making it my own layout. All right, so I got all that deleted out. There we go. Now I would also take the time to get rid of this around here, around that photograph and all of that. So let's pretend now that I'm going to go to a, let's see what I have. I'm going to pretend I'm doing a, we'll say a, do I have any boys volleyball pictures? Let's click it through here and see what I have pictures of. Seeing if they load up here. Boys volleyball. I do have some boys volleyball pics. All right, I'll probably get some more too, because at some point we'll be, probably getting some boys volleyball inside. But in terms of getting these pics on here now, for right now, this is what we have. And so I'm going to click this and I'll drop it. Hey, that's a cool looking picture of somebody serving. Click on him and look at him and see. See, that looks really cool. Yeah, I could absolutely put that. That's my dominant right there. And so I'm going to click it and drag it right into there. There it is. Now notice how his face runs right through the gutter. So I'm actually going to want to, I click on this crop position photo and I'm going to zoom in a little bit on him. And I'm going to move him so he's kind of moved over to the side a little bit. We're using what we call in photography the rule of thirds. And now you'll notice how, boom, he's right there. I probably could do that one more time. And maybe move him down just a little bit now. Just so that way he's not getting cropped out of there. And there we go. Now I remember Kennedy asked a question. She said, where do I put my captions? In this case, you can see there's room for captions on this spread right here. But if you run your captions like in white, for example, you'll notice how I can just put it like it's telling me you want to line it up right there. I'm going to say, no, let's put it right in there. And so if you run your captions in white, for example, on this photograph, I can put it right there. All right. And it's got a little pop-up right there. I'll make that go away. I can also zoom into the page. You can't hardly see it right now. Why don't we start with our headline, though, and I'll come back and I'll do that in just a second. So, and you're probably going, well, what's this big hole right here? That's where I'm going to put my my text. I'll go ahead and show you where I'm going to put that there. I probably should have had some lorem ipsum all pulled up for you. It just says, click where you want your text to be. And so I'm going to say, I want my story to be right here. This is where you guys are going to go out and get quotes from, in this case, boys volleyball. Okay? So I'm going to say, go right here, and I'm going to say, well, it should be about that big, right? And then I'm going to select it, and I'm just going to start typing my story. Blah, 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 blah. You're going, Mr. Stafford, you're an amazing typist. Look at you go. Amazing story, isn't it? Okay, there it is. It's good stuff. Really, really, really good stuff. Look at that. You're going to work harder on yours than I am on mine, all right? So there's just a bunch of sample copy right there. Just want to make sure it fills all the way in. See how much longer it's going to go, because I've been doing this for a minute, because it's lagging behind here. And you'll have to, like if mine runs down, you know what? It's called editing. That's why I have editors in life. They kind of edit things down. You notice how it's still typing. I probably should have quit a minute ago. And it's going in at 16 point. And you're not going to put yours in at 16 point. You're going to put yours in at like 12 point. Usually that's how big we do it. And if you open your textbook, whenever you go to your next class, your textbook's usually done in like 12 point. Okay. You'll notice how it's also, yeah, see, it's still writing. It's still writing. I probably should have stopped a little while ago, but there it all is. It's still going, still going, still going. So I'm going to let it finish up. Hopefully it'll finish up at some point here. See if I can make it stop. And I'm also going to click inside of it. It's just going and going and going. And it probably won't let me do anything else until it finishes with my story. So if I need to edit this, I will. Okay, I could go a little faster. There it is. It finally finished, and it said, you'll also notice it's showing me over on this side here, possible spelling errors. It basically is saying your whole thing is misspelled. But I was just typing a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So if you look over there when you're typing in your stories, because remember you're writing copy for this. Remember how we were blogging last semester? Now you're writing stories that everybody's going to read who buys a yearbook. And so you want to make sure they're all good. So you are going to look at them, and when it says, hey, you misspelled possible, it has two S's in it, okay? Then just click on it, and it'll replace that. So what font was I using? I think I was using, I'll have to click back and forth to that page, and that's why I made that one page for you. It's called a style sheet. Actually, let me just leave this right now, and let me type in some other stuff, and then we'll just click back over there whenever we remember what we're actually trying to type. So there's my story right there. Then I can type a headline. Actually, let's put a few more photos in. Let's see really quick. How about we grab this photo right? Yep, that's a cool photo. I like that one right there. So remember, I showed you a video earlier where photos that are on this side of the spread can go right there. I'm going to say add that photo right there. It's going to pop it in right. Actually, I wanted to pop right there, but the copy was in the way, so I'm going to undo that. I'll go ahead and put it where there's places where there isn't anything. I'll put this one right here then. Boom. Notice how it just highlights that. And it's kind of cropped funny, so I'm going to say crop and position the photo. So I'm going to move it down so we can see their bodies. You can also zoom in a little bit, because see how this has a bunch of dead space there at the end? Nobody wants to buy a yearbook so they get a picture of Hoover's gym door, so I can actually do that, you know. Probably not quite that tight, but that looks pretty good right there. So you notice how that looks better now. So he's serving into the gutter of the book, and we want that. This one's good. I'm going to grab this one and drop it right there. But you almost always want to crop your photos. So crop and reposition your photos. And I'm going to crop in just a little bit. Move him over. Ah, see, now he's like serving right into the page itself. So that one looks good there. And let's see what else we have. Let's see if this one works as a vertical. And let's try that again. Move over here and grab some photos. You see, it's not working perfectly for me, but let me click off that photo. It still thinks I wanted to edit that photo. So boop, click right here and let's try that. They're starting to look that direction. But that's okay. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and that looks pretty good right there. Just want to make sure the photo's all good and sharp. I like this one right here. I'll click off that photograph. I want to put this guy because he's facing into the spread. I don't think that needs a crop at all. Although, who knows? Maybe let's get rid of his socks. See if we like it better. Yeah, actually, that's probably a better shot, isn't it now? And it doesn't look super sharp on there. The photo will look sharper because we've actually gone through and found out, you know, we threw out the photos that were out of focus. And yes, I shoot out of focus pictures too. And how about this one? The action's kind of going this way, so I want to actually take this and I want to put it right there. And let's get rid of some of that dead space around there. So I'll crop this one. And see, he's kind of facing, his action kind of is facing this direction a little bit. Even though he's pointing that direction, still feels like he's trying to hit the ball this way. So this is a good photograph to put over here. So I got rid of some of that dead space. There we go. Let me see if I can take this copy, by the way, and put one more photo. I'm going to just drag it out of the way there. See, the software's a little clunky still, so it thinks I want to edit that copy. It wants me to edit that copy, but I want to just move it out of the way. There, I think I can put another photo in there right now. It's telling me you're too close to the edge. Don't put it there. And so I would just cruise back through and try and find some people, because like you'll find repeats in here. Try and, you know, run as many of the photographs as you can of different people. So if you grab a photograph and say, wait a minute, I already ran that person. Let's see, did it zoom into it? If you single click it, see, it's going to bring it in. And I think that might be the coach. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell with everybody masked. But just try your best to try and... yeah, I didn't see him in there, so let's put him in. So I think it was that one, and we'll put it right there. Now, normally we would put a team picture in here. But this year, I don't think it's possible to do team pictures, and so I think we're going to live without them. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, just to eliminate some of that dead space. In fact, I'm going to do it even more. And then I'm going to take it and move it over this way, so that way it looks like he's serving now into this person, and this person is kind of framing him, so that's better crop right there. So he's serving into them. So now, look at this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you getting 7 pictures on there. So we're actually okay on this one now. And we are rolling along. I'm going to go back, and we're going to look at now the ladder. And it's automatically saving it, by the way. If you look right there, it says it just saved it. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to look at the ladder. And so I'm going to remember all of these fonts that are in here, and you'll see that I'm going to put these in here now. So it's Sketchblock 48, so if I can remember all this. Sketchblock 22 for a subhead, and then Bebas New 16 and Blogger Sans 12. Sketchblock 48 and 22, Bebas New 16 and Blogger Sans 12. And I might have to click back and do that again. So I'm clicking down here. And so this was Blogger Sans 12. So we'll click on it, and it's mad at me. I'm going to click Control A, and I'm going to go to the B's here, and so Blogger Sans and 12. Boom. There's my story. So now I'm going to take my story, and it says I don't want it all the way up there. And I'm trying to move it. Let's see if I can move it here. Yeah, I want that to go away. There we go. You have to click off the editing thing. And you don't want your copy to go past, see that little pink line right there? You don't want your copy to go past that pink line. So there's my story. All right. So my headline should be something like, how about up and over? Because that's what you're trying to do with the ball. So up and over. So I'm going to add some text. And I clicked on the add text tool, so I'm going to go right here. And it's saying, well, where do you want to put it? So there it is, up. And click there. And up and over. I do Control A to select all of it. And then that one was... It was Bebas New was my that one. It was Sketch Block. Sorry, well, I have to remember this here. Sketch Block, and 48's kind of, you know, a default size. If it doesn't fit at 48, we'll put it at 44. If it needs to be bigger, we make it bigger. If it needs to be smaller, we'll make it smaller. So now you notice how it kind of like it said, oh, let's return all of this. Here's where we have to kind of fix it. See how it didn't really fit right? Here's where we fix it. So again, I'm clicking on it and I'm saying, let's extend it. And so I have to carefully click that. And I'm saying, let's pull it all the way over to there. So I'm dragging that all the way out. But now, see, it doesn't really, I don't want to go all the way to there. So here's where I can make it smaller, or I could make it so it lines up on top of each other. Let's make this one so it lines up on top of each other. So I do that, and I will go ahead and put a return in there. But it's really far apart. See how there's a lot of space in between? So we're going to end up changing something called the leading. So I do, again, a Control A, and I'm going to click on this text spacing right here, and it says the line height. See, it says leading right there. And I'm simply going to take it and I'm going to squeeze it down. See how it's getting all smaller and tighter? And here's where you can also change it. Now, right now, black's okay, but if I wanted a Hoover green, I can also click right here. Let's for kicks go ahead and put in a Hoover green. We don't want to overdo Hoover green, you know, and use it absolutely everywhere, but it's kind of a cool thing to put there. We're also going to put some artwork back behind here, and I might do that in a subsequent lecture. I want to give you just enough right now so you can actually do this. So up and over, and maybe we also can see how that's aligned to the left. I'm going to click one more time and did a Control A, and I'm going to go align to the right, and so it'll be there. And I'm going to click off here, and then I'm going to move it over. So let's move it over. All right, so that one works for me right now. And then we need a subhead. So I click on Add Text. And that one was Bebas New. I'm going to say go right there. Your subhead describes what is happening on the spread. So what's happening on the spread, I will say is, I'll click, and I will say boys volleyball. You don't want every subhead to be about COVID, but works hard to overcome obstacles. Okay, I'm going to go select all, and you'll see how it's moving around on top there. Here's where I go to Bebas New. I like Bebas New. I think that's how you say it. And I think it was either 16 or 18, but we'll kind of make it fit anyways. I want this to be centered. And I also want it to be, notice how it's all kind of scrunched. I want it to also have we're going to do the text spacing here, and I'm going to make it a little tighter together. Yep, like that. But then I'm also going to take it, and let's click on it, and you can see how it's scrunched up because it's, let me click off. If you click off, by the way, it'll get rid of that stuff. And now I'm going to take this, and I will drag it out. I think so. I want to edit it again. I want to change its parameters, its dimensions. Come on. It's being a little clunky here. You see I'm struggling. Let me zoom into it and see if I can zoom in a little bit. It's coming into it. Nah, I'm trying to get it so it goes right to there. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Sometimes that's one of the things you'll find is that if you kind of zoom into things, sometimes the computer isn't sure what you're trying to click on. I'm waiting for that right there. See how it turned into a right and left arrow? So I was simply trying to do that, and you got to roll it right over there. So when I was like rolled all the way out, wouldn't do it. But see, whenever I got it and moved around on it a little bit. Now, see how that doesn't really fit? This is where I would end up putting it in 2 lines. And so I'm going to click kind of like right in the middle, figure out what the middle of my thing is, and then just boom, put a return in. And now there's my headline, and there's my subhead. Let's zoom out. It's saving it, and it's constantly saving it. That's partly why this doesn't work as well as it should, because it's always trying to save it. Okay, so here is this one right here. Now the only other thing I have to show you how to do is how to put in a caption. So notice how this says, make sure you get rid of, and we're always going to have to look before we submit pages. It says your text here. You don't want to say your text here. You want it to say exactly what this is. So let's zoom in a little bit more. So we're going to have to delete out all the ones we aren't going to use, and the ones you are going to use, you'll actually just put your text in on it. So I'm going to delete, hit the backspace key, or the delete key, sorry. See, there it goes. Now that says your text here. So I'm going to click on it. And this is what's going to be my caption. And you notice how the picture looks blurry right now? Again, it should look a lot sharper whenever you actually get it, because it's approximating what the picture looks like is all it's doing. And so I can say keeping focus. You always put a catchphrase, keeping focus. And I don't know this young man's name, but you guys, this is your job. This is what you're going to have to go and try and do, is to figure out who number 19 is on the boys volleyball team. Okay, keep in focus. Let's see. I'm just going to call him John Doe, which is a typical name when you don't know who somebody is. John Doe. I don't think that's his real name. John Doe keeps his focus while working on his serve. Okay, so, ooh, look over here when I was typing. It also said that you misspelled his, and also focus is actually typed in ficus, which I think that's a fern or a plant. Oh, that's a fica, isn't it? I don't know. All right, so let's move it over so we can actually see, because notice how you can't hardly see white on white right now. So let's try and move the whole thing over, and then we'll fix it. Again, it's going slow, but we're going to have to... Oop, now it thinks I want to work on that picture, so I'm going to click back on this text block, move it over. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to select all, and I'm going to align it to the left. And my caption font is, I'm going to have to look. I forgot. I got to look on that other page. Do you guys remember? You remember? Let me click on that other page and see what it is. Since it's kind of brand new, I've forgotten what it is, but I can click over there really quick. Blogger Sans 10, and then it's all caps on the catchphrase. So Blogger Sans 10. So we'll go back here and we'll go to Blogger Sans 10. So here we are. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to Control A, which selects all, and then I'm going to click on Blogger Sans 10. Blogger Sans. Boop. There it is, and it's Blogger Sans 10. And then on your catchphrase, you can just select that. And that part I want to be bold. And it's kind of jumping around a little bit, but it should go in there. Now, if we wanted the whole thing to be black, I can click on the whole thing, and let's, I'm going to click on the whole thing again, and I'm going to make it all, I don't think white works. It doesn't quite work there. And you'll notice I also have some typos in here. This is saying shiz, what's that? So it should be, keeps his focus, and this is partially what I'm going to be grading you on, is how well have you edited this. John Doe keeps his focus while working on his serve. You're just telling me who this is and what he or she is doing. Now you'll notice how it also doesn't show extraordinarily well. I'm going to click until I get this little move tool, because I want to. It thinks I want to edit it, so I'm going to try and move it up a little bit and over. And it's going kind of slow. It's trying to save it and everything. So sometimes it helps to click off something and then to click back on it and then move it around. See how I was able to do that? Now you can actually read it, because see, like, you know, black text on black pants isn't going to show, so you'd actually want to make sure that that's readable. And if you needed to, you can actually kind of squeeze it down a little bit. Right now it's not giving me, there's that side arrow that I was looking for again. If I took it and squeezed it down, oops, accidentally moved the photo. So sometimes you'll move things on accident, and in that case, you just do an undo. And there we go. I moved it back over, and now I can take the photograph, the caption, almost done here. Take the caption, waiting for that arrow to pop up for me there. There we go. If I can get that arrow to move, and that's what I was trying to do. So now just click off of it. Now let's look at the whole thing and see what I got. Fit. I'm not seeing a difference in that, so I'll play with that caption a little bit. But again, I don't want that to get too long here, so I'm clicking on fit on this. All right. I would also take out, notice how it has that funky border on that picture. Again, I think I can probably click on it carefully, and there we go. I take time to remove that, but it's probably going to try and take my photograph off there. So yeah, try and get rid of that kind of thing. But other than that, remove line, there it is. I clicked on it. See, remove line. I'm trying to get rid of that line. There we go, and then go all the way around. And if you have some elements that are on there that don't belong, get rid of them. Remove line. There we go. And so I go all the way around. You guys don't need to see me take those lines off. Right now it doesn't have any artwork, doesn't have anything else. We're going to put some backgrounds on this stuff. That's why we bought those backgrounds. You're going to put a caption on each one of these. So just use these captions and write over them. I'm not sure if I love that caption font now that I'm looking at it, but we'll look at that. But that's basically how you put it in, then we can kind of adjust it from there. But now you can at least see how we did this, and yeah, we'll go from there. So hopefully this helped you in terms of putting in your headline, your subhead, your body copy, your photographs, your layout, and your captions. These are all necessary things on each spread. And you see that it took me, my recording is 30 minutes long. And so it shouldn't take you any longer than 30 minutes to get your page looking like this. And then at that point, you work on your copy and you work on your captions. And then I will work with you in terms of making these things pretty. Okay? Let's do it.